having a college education is no longer secure. This is one of the most valuable times to live in. And it's not even to the point where we're trying to support people. We're trying to elevate these people. It takes a tribe to raise a child. And then we never do start because there's just too many things to start on. Go get it. Attack it. Become somebody. Make a change. The American dream is more alive than ever. It's just under attack. You can at least try and change somebody's day. Make somebody smile. Open the door for somebody. Hello, and welcome back to the show, my friends. So last week we talked about why is Gen Z lost, right? And now this week we're going to be talking about this question that's been being asked a lot, especially nowadays more than ever, with the younger generations, and this feeling that we're all kind of starting to have. And it's not like one or two people are having this question. This is like a question that's rising. More and more people are starting to ask, should I just give up? More and more people now are losing their hope and just wondering, is there even a point anymore? Should I even try? And people are becoming more okay with the idea of just giving up. So I wanted to talk about that. Should we just give up? And why are we becoming okay with the fact that it's okay to give up? So, because life is so stressful for all of us, really. But we're seeing a lot of the younger generations just quitting their jobs or not applying, not getting their driver's license. We're seeing a lot of people just give up. And we're also seeing the question raised if I should even try, because there's so much stress. There's so much going on these days. People are just, what's the point? And I want to talk about that today. So we're going to start off with insert intro here. Hello and welcome to the Alpha Insight Podcast, where we talk about new ways to view our society and culture. This platform is not here to harm or shame anyone, but to provide the truth, hoping to help shape you and grow you into a stronger, healthier person. I'm your host, Jameson Riling, and welcome to the show. So we're going to start off with, we've got 3 points today about why we are becoming okay with the idea of giving up and where this question is coming from. So let's just kickstart this right now with point number 1. We are becoming okay with the fact of giving up because it is harder to live independently now than ever before. That's point number 1. And I've looked into this a lot. Let me just tell you, this topic I have written, I have researched over and over and over again. I've found anything and everything. I've written the script. I've rewritten the script. I've rewritten the script. I've done this a million times, and I'm finally getting to record. And I'm so excited to record this episode because I cannot stand it. This one was very difficult for me to talk about. So I guess before we do get into it, if you enjoy this episode, I would really appreciate it if you leave a rating or review on whatever platform you're listening on. And then go follow the social media. I started posting reels, and I'm going to be doing that daily for a little while. That's super fun. I've got an interview coming up soon, if I didn't publish it already, with Jason Watts, local business owner. Super, super awesome guy. Definitely go check that out. But this topic took a lot. I have spent hours, I've spent days on this topic. I've had headaches trying to write the script for this. There's just so much information that I'm not even going to be able to get into today. But I found kind of the 3 main reasons why people are becoming okay with the idea of giving up. The 3 kind of biggest reasons. And so those are the 3 points I'm going to be talking about today. You can check out the Instagram or Facebook at Alpha Insight Podcast. So we are becoming okay with the fact, we are becoming the question of should I just give up is rising within the youth, within the younger generations. People are quitting their jobs. People aren't trying as much anymore. Why is that? I want to talk about that. So, the three biggest reasons I found after looking into this for a long time, starting off with number one, it's harder to live independently. It's harder to live independently today more than ever before. Living expenses. The Pew Research Center found that the cost of living has increased by 67% since 1990, while the median hourly wage has only increased by 18%. So that's a problem of its own, right? We've got living expenses, which are going way up here, and we've got our hourly, our incomes still like way down here. It's automatically going to be way harder to live independently. And not to mention all the stuff that I'm about to mention. We're not making as much as we used to. But at the same time, we're making way more than we used to. So not only is the cost of living has increased, having a college education is no longer secure. One thing I found was a lot of young people are finding that they're going to college and they're getting out and they're trying to find a job with this new degree or whatever. And people are not finding jobs. The jobs are all taken up. But on top of that, companies are having a really hard time with hiring from Gen Z, which is crazy because of certain things like the what's it called? Quiet quitting trend thing that's going on right now, where basically people these days aren't going to go above and beyond what they're supposed to do at work. They're just going to do exactly what they're supposed to do. I'm only going to do as much as you pay me for, basically. I'm not saying that's a good or bad thing, but that's going on. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's going on, but people are finding it harder to employ the younger generations. But on top of that, a lot of the jobs are taken up. And yes, there's a million jobs out there, right? There's a bunch of jobs out there, but it's becoming a lot harder for college graduates to find a job. And I'm not just going to dog on college, because if you have a specific thing you want to do, go to college, do your thing. If that's the life you want to live, go do it 100%. But this is an issue that's going on for some people. We have less experience, less life experience. And I talked about that in the last episode. So go check that out if you haven't listened to that yet. That was an amazing episode. Even if you went to college, people still aren't finding jobs. On top of the whole college thing, which is already stressful, on top of the increased living expenses, AI is growing rapidly. And a lot of you guys use AI. A lot of you think it's super cool. And yeah, it's super cool, but it's predicted to take over 300 million jobs in the future. Soon to take over 300 million jobs. AI. So then what are we going to do? Nothing. Like, what do we do? Right? So it's raising this uncertainty in our society. There's a lot of uncertainty going on right now. With confusion and uncertainty, it makes you wonder if you should even try. Is there even a point in trying? If I went to college, I wouldn't get the job I want. If I did this, it's not 100%. It's not, whatever. People are just like, why should I even try? But this is one of the most valuable times to live in. And I want to make that point clear. With all the uncertainty, with all the stuff that's going on, this is one of the most valuable times to live in. We have the most opportunity to become so much more. Each and every one of you has so much opportunity, way more opportunity than past generations, to become so much more, make so much more money, like make such a bigger impact. The opportunity is there. You just have to decide you want to. We're living expecting to make money how people used to, but our world is changing and you need to learn how to change with it. Because we're using the same systems that we used years and years and years for a long time, but our world is rapidly changing and you need to learn how to change with it, or it's going to leave you in the dust. So it doesn't matter how much like uncertainty there is. It doesn't matter like how many jobs there is. You have way more opportunity than other generations had. You just have to change. You have to recognize that. We're living in a world that's rapidly changing. And that can be scary for a lot of us because there's a lot of uncertainty, right? Things are changing. It's becoming, it's a scary time. Although it's difficult, there are millions of ways to become successful or rich, but no one's doing them because they weren't learning how to do it. You can fix a new problem. No, you can't fix a new problem with an old solution all the time. A lot of times it does work, but with this stuff, like we got new problems today and we're trying to fix them with old solutions and it's not the same. So I just wanted to make that clear with all the uncertainty, with all the, the stuff that's going on today. You do have an opportunity. You have such a huge opportunity to become something with all the scariness and like the AI and the freaking college stuff, the living expenses. Like, it's scary. Maybe you've thought about just giving up, but there's so much opportunity out there. So you have the choice to give up. No, sorry. You have the choice if you want to give up or not, how far you want to push yourself. But if you do choose to push through and you are determined to figure it out, there comes knowledge, experience, freedom, and this stuff is so possible. You just have to learn how to do it. And I'm not going to talk to you like I'm rich or anything because I'm definitely not that. I would love to be, but I do want to say, though, that the opportunity is there. There's so many different ways to, like, okay, this is how my brain works. This is what I love talking about. I love talking about money. I love talking about how to make money. So I'm going to talk about this for a little bit, okay? Like, I'm excited, okay? You got me excited. There's so many ways to make an income that you don't even know about. You have no clue about. Like, you didn't even know this was a thing. You didn't even know, like, anything about this, right? And it's difficult to learn, but with the predictions of the future, you are never going to be rich, or you are going to be poor, and you are going to be rich or you're going to be poor with the predictions of the future. The middle class is disappearing, my friends. If you don't believe me, go check it out and whatever. And they've been saying that for years, right? But the middle class has been like disappearing. People are becoming rich or they're becoming poor, and you have to choose what side of the fence you want to be on. That might sound a little dramatic, but I'm sorry. But you have to choose what side of the fence you want to be on. And I learned this at an event that I just went to. It's called the Aspire Tour. And Andrew Cordell was talking about this. Super cool dude. Never heard of the guy before in my life. Super, super cool dude. Had some awesome stuff. He was talking about it like this. The great way to put it into words. You have contributors and you have creators, and you need to learn your own path. Contributors, there's nothing wrong with either path, okay? But you have to understand what kind of person you are and whether it's you want to be one side or the other, which personality you are. Creators are going to be the people who go out, start a new business, who want to go build this or create this, right? Contributors are going to be the people working those corporate jobs. And you can make a lot of money doing either way, but you cannot play, well, he says this, you can't play the game if you're on the wrong side of the fence. You have to play the right game. Because a lot of times what's happening is we're living one life and trying to be the other. And I wish I fully understood what that meant. But man, that was so much to think about. But like with all the uncertainty and stuff that's going on, like screw all that. I'm trying to tell you, like, I'm not where I want to be. I'm not as rich as I want to be or anything, but at least I'm going to try. And you have to try too. You have to decide what you want for your future. What kind of life do you want? Do you want to create things or do you want to create for somebody else? And it's like with all the uncertainty and stuff that's going on, like figure out your game and then play your game. When you figure out how to play your game, you're going to be so far ahead of everybody else. Like, if you want to be a doctor and whatever, if you want to work some corporate job and make millions of dollars, find out, like, maybe, maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe you want to live a simple life or whatever. Like, figure out how you're going to do that. Screw all the uncertainty stuff. Like, we don't need that, okay? We don't need the fear in our lives. You don't need the fear in your life. Just figure out what you want to do, what path you want to go down, and then learn the rules to that game. And maybe it's like you want to be a teacher. You don't want to make a bunch of money. You want to help kids or whatever. Like, figure that out and go do it. Anyways, point number one, why we are becoming okay with the idea of giving up, and why a lot of people are giving up and quitting their jobs, is because of those reasons. It's living expenses are through the roof. We are making a lot less than we used to. AI is about to take over a bunch of jobs. It already has taken over a bunch of jobs. A college degree is no longer secure, 100%, and it's creating fear. But my friends, you don't have to live in fear. Learn the rules to your game and play your game and play it well. Do the best at it than anybody else. I know you can do that because you're listening to this podcast. So you're already a stud. I know you could do whatever you want, and you do too. So the number two point why we are becoming okay with the fact we are questioning whether or not we should just give up, whether or not we should just quit, what is the rise of disagreements. The rise of disagreements. We are currently in a war with ourselves, with the people that we call our neighbors, with our friends even. We are constantly disagreeing, and we are no longer learning how to agree to disagree, but we are becoming completely opposites. It has to be right or wrong, black or white. There's a war right now between race, gender, free speech, sexual orientation, religion, and more, There's like a constant disagreement, and we're no longer hearing out each other. We're just fighting about the same thing. There's no agreement anymore. It's black or white, right or wrong. This race is bad. That race is good. Or men are better than women. Women are better than men. Empowerment. Trans people. Let's support the trans people. And it's not even to the point where we're trying to support people. We're trying to elevate these people. We're trying to give them special privileges. I don't know. That's another topic for another day. But you see why we're becoming okay with the fact that it's just giving up, because there's this war going on that seems to just keep getting worse between ourselves. It's not only the uncertainty that's going on right now with the living and everything. Becoming independent is becoming hard for us, but we can no longer agree on things. We hate each other. Some of us. Not you, though. I know you don't. I know you're filled with love because you're listening to the podcast. I know it. You're a stud. Anyways, because of the stuff going on in our society, we are losing our communities. And not only because of that, I mean, COVID took a big hit, hit us pretty hard. And it is becoming harder to find people who are like-minded, because we're now living in communities online, but we don't even know our neighbors' names anymore. You don't even know, maybe you do, but we don't even know who lives next to us anymore, There's no community. There's a lack of community. And throughout history, you see people building communities. And sometimes those communities are built based off of common interests, but also common enemies. Either way, communities have been built. Throughout history, that's how people connect with each other. And now there's such a disconnect, such a huge disconnect. And so I wanted to go down this rabbit hole a little bit. What would happen if we just lost communities? What would happen if we no longer had a community? And a lot of us don't. Historically, though, that's what we've been using forever. Communities are lacking. Again, how many people do you say know their neighbors anymore? We have a lack of community, and community is what raises people and shapes people into the people they become. As the old saying goes, it takes a tribe to raise a child. But communities, I want to talk about this for a second. Communities are what shapes people into who they become. And now that we see a huge lack of community in our everyday life, in our society, where are people going? We're going online. We're looking at these lives of these influencers. We're no longer looking up to the guy, the leader of our community or whatever. We're looking up to some guy on YouTube, some guy on TikTok, because we have nowhere else to go. And when we lose community, we go other places to find like-minded people. And nowadays, we are looking to influencers. Kids and teens, even adults, are feeling lost because it seems nobody's connected anymore on a personal scale. And we're learning everything we learn from what some guy says on YouTube. We have such a lack of community. And community is important because it provides support and safety. I was looking all this stuff up, so this is what I found. Community provides support and safety, connection and belonging, influence. We push people and we get pushed to become better. We influence, meaning we push people to become better, they push us to become better, and we're all growing as a community, right? It makes us share things we love. We get to share our interests, our passions, and we get to hear other people's interests and passions, and others do the same, and we learn from each other. Communities bring acceptance. So like, have you ever had like you'll be in a community or whatever, all these people who want this, let's say they all have the same goal, but they're completely different people, a bunch of completely different people. Community brings acceptance. Like, we accept these people because they're just like me. They're a lot different, but they're just like me. They have the same goals, they have the same dreams, or whatever the community is based around, right? It creates acceptance and brings more connections with people. So that means more chances of success. You get to meet new people. More people, yeah, you know what I'm saying. So when we have a lack of community, when we have a rise of disagreements, not only are we having all the uncertainty and stuff going on, but we're no longer connecting with people. We're losing love. We're losing what it means to love other people, to sacrifice, to help other people. And that's causing a lot of entitlement these days. And I was going to make a whole topic about this. I already wrote the script out and everything about how entitled we've become because it's such a huge problem. But when everybody's afraid of the future and, things are just going crazy, and then on top of that, it's like we have wars with each other about all this other stuff. It's just, we don't know how to trust people, and we're losing that. We're losing community with people, and community is what shapes people, what builds us together. And when you're lacking that community, we are being torn apart. We're being torn apart. Like, genuinely, like, how many people do you look up to? Do you have a community? Do you have people you can talk to about your struggles? People you can talk to about your passions, your interests? Do you have people you're learning from and who are learning from you? Communities build, and right now what we see is a lot of anger and hate and entitlement and just disagreement, and that becomes so hard to even look around, But we get that access. We get to see everything that's going on in our world in an instant on media, in an instant. So let's go to point number 3. Point number 3, why we are becoming okay with the fact of giving up, why some of us have given up, why a lot of us are giving up, is because of the rise of depression rates. And this is not hard to find the statistics on this at all. 1 in 4 American adults is now likely to be experiencing symptoms of depression, a threefold increase from last year. And that's from a Boston University website. When mental health is at an all-time low, it automatically creates fear in us. And on top of that, it creates a lack to want to try, a lack of motivation, a lack of hope. And people dealing with mental health issues are having an even harder time. But not only is mental health affecting those directly who have it, but it's affecting everybody around it, especially making it seem that there's nothing that can be done to help. Just drilling in the feeling of hopelessness and the urge to give up or not try. However, if you want to make it in this life, you are going to have to force yourself to do hard things, no matter how you feel. But on top of that, learn how to strengthen your mind. And when you can do that, you have a strong mind and you can do anything you want. See, nowadays, we don't even want to get out of our depression because depression is comfortable. Why would we want to get out of that? Depression is so comfortable. So we're not even, we don't want to get out of depression. But a lot of us don't know how to get out of it, right? Because a lot of us don't understand it. So you may be thinking, like, what does this really have to do with wanting to give up in society, wanting to quit my job, wanting to just say screw it and just live in my parents' basement the rest of my life? Let me kind of pull all these together. There's this thing called learned helplessness, a state that arises when individuals repeatedly face an uncontrollable challenges, leading them to feel powerless and unmotivated to change their circumstances. That's what's going on today. Learned helplessness, where we are now living in a world where there's just so many problems going on that it seems like there's so many things going on and we can't even figure out what to start on fixing. And so we just learn to give up. There's no point in trying. Yeah, depression's a thing. There's no point in trying to fix it though, because it's never going to go away. There's no point in trying. All the living rights are so high and I'm not making enough, so why even try? There's such a disagreement in this world. Like, people are disagreeing on this and this and this and this, and there's no communities. Why even try? People don't even want to hear you out anymore. People don't want to even hear the other side. There's no point in trying, right? When there's so many issues that are going on, we don't even know where to start. And then we never do start because there's just too many things to start on. There's too many issues that will never get fixed. But are you going to be that person who's never even going to try? Are you going to be that person who just, well, that was hard. It's hard. I don't know how to, so I'm not going to try and learn though. Or are you going to do something about it? Become somebody. You may be thinking, what does this have to do with quitting my job? I'm not just talking about people giving up in their jobs. I'm like, people are giving up in life. People are just not caring anymore. People don't care because there's so many issues going on. Like, well, might as well just join the crowd if you can't change anything, right? Learned helplessness. So you get to decide what side of the fence you want to be on. The world is changing and you have to decide where you want to be. You have to find your path and you have to freaking go get it, attack it, become somebody, make a change. Because, we see on social media all the time, like these people making such a dramatic impact that we're like, oh, I could never make that big of an impact. So why even try? Have you ever thought about it? Like, even if you changed one person's life, why wouldn't you try, right? Some of you are thinking, it's only one person. What if that one person was you? What if you were that one person who needed that help or you needed, somebody changed your life? Wouldn't you want to do that to somebody else? Become that beacon of hope? Become something? And that was all off script, but I got passionate for a second. But when all this is going on around us and we see it all unfolding before us, it gets stressful, right? Obviously. We're caught up on current events so quickly because of how fast media spreads. We are weak-minded, and when you see so much success going on around us, and yet at the same time, so much chaos, it makes us feel helpless. We have, media, the reason why things get so big in the first place is because it's so dramatic, right? It's like somebody is super rich or somebody there's this huge issue going on. Like the biggest stories, the loudest stories make the the most noise, right? The more dramatic they are. So we are kind of living in a world where we think, because I talked about this in the last episode, our brain it doesn't know the difference between reality, right? It thinks that this is all reality. So it thinks, well, I can't just change one or two people's lives. That's not big enough. I'm not even going to try because there's all these other people who are changing thousands of lives or millions of lives. I'm not even going to try. Oh, this guy has a freaking six pack and the best body ever. I'm not even going to try to start going to the gym because we're now living in a world of extremes. And our brains we're starting to believe that you have to be either the best of the best or the worst of the worst or this or that. So there's no point in trying if the impact is going to be so small or whatever it is, right? Man. So should we just give up? We're living in a world of extremes. And so our brains kind of already we're already being taught to just give up. Even though we live in a world of so much opportunity, our brains are already automatically ready to give up because of what we've been ingesting through social media and through this, through our world, through society. We have a lack of community, which helps us stay grounded, right? Is the American dream dead? The American dream is more alive than ever. It's just under attack. And Cody Sanchez said that. It's not my words. I want to give credit where credit is due. The people in control want to take away our freedoms. I don't care how much you believe in that, the government stuff and whatever, but the people in control want your freedom. They want your attention. They want your time. They want your freedom. They want your money. And they're going to get it if we don't learn how to change. You should not give up because this is one of the best times to live, my friend. There's so much opportunity everywhere. And instead of watching it all happen, contribute, do something, be something. Find that path you want to go down and do it. And like I said, I'm not rich. I'm not famous or anything right now. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm still going to try because I know I can make an impact and so can you. We all have these talents. Everybody's good at something. It doesn't matter how much uncertainty there is. You don't live your world. You don't live your life in fear. Is that really how you want to live your life? Why even try if there's no point? No, not you. I know you don't. Because you're a stud. Like I said, you're a stud. I know you. You don't want to give up. Maybe some of you listening today do just want to give up. There's no point anymore, Jameson. Society is too crazy. Things are going too crazy. You don't live your life in fear. You know what you can do? You can at least try and change somebody's day. Make somebody smile. Open the door for somebody. Go do something kind for somebody. Learn how to love people. Learn how to serve people. And when we, and push to be better. Because you don't want to live your life in fear. Like I said in the whole perception episode, you choose how you view the world around you. And you can choose to live in fear, or you can choose to keep on going. Become one of the 1%. Man, I'm talking like I'm rich and stuff. I'm really not. Oh, that's super good. It's super cool stuff. But this is what I'm passionate about. And whether I make an impact or not, you know what? At least I can say I tried, right? And so can you. At least you could say you tried, even if you don't make it, right? So even if we were to all give up, if everybody was to give up and society was just to give up, that would be a dramatic change. And if that were to happen, we would be looking at a dramatic reaction. And what I mean by dramatic reaction, I mean possibly a societal collapse. Maybe I'll talk about that in the next episode. I did a whole topic on that, but man, a societal collapse. That would be scary, but I'm not going to spoil anything. So learn to love and serve. You got this. I already gave you the whole outro. My friends, keep killing it. If you enjoyed today's episode, I would really appreciate it if you leave a rating or a review. That would be super, super awesome. Go check out the Instagram or Facebook. Started posting reels and whatnot. If I haven't published it yet, there's an interview by Jason Watts coming out soon. If I did publish it, I hope you enjoyed that one. But thank you for listening. I appreciate you. Have a great rest of your week. Peace.